So we have 22 Republican governors here tonight. Of the 27, we had a couple, they were getting inaugurated today, so they couldn't be here, and another one's got delayed by the snow. But we're really pleased to be here at the invitation of the president-elect. It's been a long period without cooperation from Washington, so we're looking forward to the new administration coming in. We have a lot of business to get done on behalf of our state, so we're just pleased to be here to meet with the president. Well, I think it's different depending on the state. I know for Montana, we've wrestled with overreach from the EPA, problems with other agencies, whether it's Interior with public lands. But I know each governor that's standing up here has expressed frustration. When President Trump was in office previously, we'd have periodic phone calls, regular interactions where we could express the concerns and really collaborate. We've had a number of situations with the current administration where it's been crickets. We haven't heard anything.
Governor DeWine, can you speak to your thought process now that J.D. Vance has officially said that he is going to resign tonight?
Sure. We certainly have been working on this for some time, and I'll have an announcement probably next week. I'm looking for someone, first of all, who will be a worker in the U.S. Senate. I spent 12 years there. I think I have a pretty good idea what it takes to be successful. I want someone who understands Ohio, who has a deep knowledge of our state. We need that strong advocate there. Also has to be someone who's willing to run in 2 years and then turn right around and run 2 years after that. So Ohio's a big state. That's a tough thing to do. Also, someone who can win a primary and who can win a general election in Ohio. So those are the kind of the main criteria.
Whether or not he wants to go to the Senate or run for governor in 2 years.
Well, I'm not going to get into that tonight. So. Thanks, everybody.
Governor DeSantis, just your reaction to Matt Gaetz mowing a gubernatorial bid?
I don't really have a reaction to it. I mean, it's so far away that for that race to happen. I think my thing is I had to do a special election to fill that seat because he resigned from the seat. I wish we had full strength in the House to help the president get his agenda done. That's where the fight is right now. Florida, the fight was in 18 here when we were at a crossroads. If you look now at the results across the state, the left is lying in ruins. The Democratic Party is on the mat. So we've got it handled here. I think the people need to be up there fighting for President Trump and to deliver on his mandate. And so any congressman should be wanting to go up there and do that. And we expect all our Florida congressmen to actually deliver on these promises.
Governor DeSantis, have you and President Trump spoken about the possibility of you serving as Secretary of Defense?
We speak frequently. We haven't really gone into any particulars on anything. I think we're looking forward to being able to be helpful in any way we can. Clearly, as governor, I think we'll have a better future these next couple of years than we've had the last 4. Our success in Florida has been in spite of the Biden administration, not because of it. Now I think we're going to get some good runway, and so I think that'll be really the substance of the conversation tonight.
Governor DeSantis, would you be interested in that job of Defense Secretary should the Texas nomination proclamation here succeed next week?
So, I've not asked for any position. I've not been offered any position. I've got a great job. I think the president has a unique opportunity to deliver big wins for the American people. As part of that, his agenda, which I agree with wholeheartedly, on reconstituting the military away from the social agenda and towards being able to deliver lethal force, to be able to deter our enemies and achieve peace through strength is vitally important. I want him to be able to succeed in that. I think he has the ability to succeed in that. I think he's very serious in succeeding in that. And just as somebody who served, yesteryear, I think the military culture has changed in the last 20 years, and I don't think it's been for the better. So there's a lot of work to do, and I think he's got a lot of great people in national security that are going to be helping him. I'll be rooting for his success, but in terms of anything for me, like I said, I haven't asked for anything, and I haven't been offered anything.
Governor DeSantis, do you guys intend to get some counsel or run your selection by the president before making a choice on your selection for Senate?
That, I
What-
didn't,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
I didn't hear you just talking.
Well, we speak frequently. I'll speak with him tonight. I'm going to be with him in a couple days after this. And obviously, the one thing I've told them is you're going to have somebody up there that's going to help you deliver on the mandate that you've received from the American people. I think that that's very important. And I think that's what the people of Florida voted for. And I think that they deserve a United States Senate that's going to fight for those policies. And so that'll be something that'll be guaranteed. But we also got to have somebody that understands the state of Florida, understands some of our unique challenges and our unique needs, and is going to be able to be attentive to that. And then, of course, have an overall philosophy beyond just with this presidential election. This will be someone that could run in 2 years and then run after that and potentially be up there a long time. So you may be up there under Democrat presidents in the future. Hopefully not, but maybe. You may be up there under different Republican presidents. We want somebody that's got that solid philosophical foundation that's going to be true to the principles that I think have made this country great. So we'll be doing, incidentally, I mean, people have been asking me, there is no vacancy in the state of Florida in the United States Senate. I talked to Marco shortly after he got nominated, and his intention, and I think it was absolutely the right decision, is to resign effective on appointment as Secretary of State. That will likely be January 20th. Certainly, I don't think much later than that. And so we'll have somebody teed up, ready to go when the new administration begins. And so that will happen, just like I said it would, sometime in the middle of January.
Governor Youngkin, do you think it's helpful for President-elect Donald Trump to be attacking Governor Newsom in the middle of what we're seeing in California right now?
Well, first of all, a governor's primary responsibility is to go to work to keep their state safe. And I have to say, one of the things we talk about as governors all the time is preparing and responding and then recovering after a natural disaster. What's been happening in Los Angeles has been horrific. And I think first and foremost, our hearts pour out to all of those folks who have lost their homes, lost their livelihoods, and are really being driven out. I also believe that there does need to be some action. And I think that collectively between federal governments and state governments, we all work together to address these things. But let me just go right back to it. What's happening in California right now is absolutely heart-wrenching and horrific. And I think we're going to need help from the entire country in order for them to recover.
Does anyone else want to speak to that? Because you all, as governors, obviously deal with emergencies. Often you have to work with the federal government. Sometimes it's your party, sometimes it's not. What do you think about the idea of President-elect Donald Trump criticizing a governor in the middle of a disaster?
Well, first of all, I mean, when Donald Trump was president, he responded very strongly to natural disasters. I can tell you he responded very positively in Florida, but he also responded favorably when there were Democrat governors. And I think he understands the importance of these situations. I will note, I mean, you talk about, what you're doing. I remember when we had our hurricanes this past hurricane season. We had Hurricane Helene, and Florida, we're locked and loaded for this. We respond. But then you go to North Carolina, and it was like a third world country all of a sudden. There was no sense of urgency from the federal government. I think the state government didn't do very well. And so I'm sending my assets up there to help rescue people. Florida State Guard is up there doing that. And I think the administration was asleep at the switch. Then Milton came, and they knew that they had suffered some political negativity of that. So I have Harris trying to pick a fight with me in the middle of Hurricane Milton, saying, "Ooh, he's not taking my calls." I tell you, she never called me in my whole tenure as governor on any natural disasters, and I'm not sure she's done very much on this one, even though she's there. So, these things are go how they go, but I can tell you, and I'll say the same with Biden. I worked well with Biden during his time in natural disasters, and I worked well with Donald Trump. So I'm very confident as a state that knows we face these, that a Trump administration is going to be very strong and is going to be there for the people regardless of party.
Is it appropriate for the president-elect or a president to be criticizing?
Is it appropriate for people in your industry to try to create division and to try to create narratives anytime these things happen? Now, you're not as interested in doing that because Newsom is a D. If Newsom was a Republican, you guys would go you would have him nailed to the wall for what they're doing over there. And I know we've dealt with it. We just assume in Florida, anytime something happens, it's going to be politicized by the media. So you guys sitting in judgment of Donald Trump, I mean, excuse me, I think your track record of politicizing these things is very, very bad.
But
Okay,
Trump said-
last
Trump said
question.
Newsom should resign and that the wildfires are all his fault. So do you agree with those comments?
I remember when we had the Surfside Tower collapse, I had people from the Washington Post trying to blame me for it immediately without having any facts or anything. Oh, he didn't declare a state of emergency. First of all, state of emergency doesn't mean you
But
can't
Biden
respond.
didn't, though.
It's all that. Excuse me?
Biden did it. I think that's what she's saying.
Well, but what I'm telling you is you guys are trying to make an issue of it when I have watched from this seat. In fact, when I got elected governor, I was meeting with some of the other Republican governors, and what they would say is, hey, if you have a natural disaster, just know media's coming at you, they're going to do it. It's not the same. That mayor of LA, if that were a Republican mayor, I could only imagine what that would do. I mean, you know the fires are at high risk and you try to go to Africa or wherever she was to go on some type of voyage. You should have been there preparing and doing that, and yet I don't see a lot of heat being directed in that thing. And so, you know, I'd like to see some balance on how this is done. You could criticize the president-elect, but I think you also have to hold these other people accountable, and I have not seen that.
Just pointing out the sentencing
So the
happened-
Republican governor standing in front of you were thrilled to accept the president-elect's invitation to come here so that we can have a collaborative working relationship, which we have not had for 4 years. So thank you for coming out tonight.
Thank you all. Thank you.